What's up YouTube? Jason here representing Raptor Reptiles, and I'm back with another video. Thank you guys for watching it. I see me getting a little bit more views, a little bit more subscribers. I'm going to keep doing a lot more videos and a lot more things I feel are important. Things you should know for first time bearded dragon owners if you own a lot, and stuff that I'm doing to A, save money, B, convenience, and just stuff like that. I just came back from work. I was away for about 3 days, so now I'm back, and I ordered a shipment of a bunch of feeders, so they all came in today. So that's why obviously the room is a little bit of a mess here, but I'll show you how I keep all my feeders and what I feed my dragons, and then we'll go into a feeding video. It'll be myself doing some feeding, and then my girlfriend Caitlin, she'll do some feeding, and we'll go from there. So first thing is over here. This isn't, I'll do a separate video on this if I get enough requests pretty much, but these are my dubias that I have here. These are my breeder ones, and hopefully the light's good enough that you guys can see, but I have a bunch in here. They've actually started breeding and whatnot, and it's really not that much work. But there is some stuff you need to know if you're going to be breeding your dubia roaches, and this colony is not by far ready. It'll probably be ready in about 5 months. I mean, I've only had it for about a month, but it's doing very well. So I know I did my research and things are going good, but I'll do a separate video on that and what I feed them and everything. So that's what this bin is, and we did obviously buy this whole pretty much entertainment system, but we've been using it because we are in limited space at the moment. With storing all our feeders and stuff for the dragons, and these are things that you should know, that if you do get into having more than, I would say, 2 bearded dragons, you need to do. So these are my feeder dubias. These are what I am willing to feed to my dragons right now without hurting my colony. So I did get a shipment, and at the moment I'm going through this guy over at AB Dragons. He's all over Fauna Classifieds. He came highly recommended. That's where I got all my breeders from, and I do get my supply from. He does, I feel, have like the best deals, and his dubias always come here on time. They're in good shape. He does compensate since we're in the north with heat packs and whatnot. And this little tub here, I just ordered 1,000 super worms, and I got them from a local person that I met here at a reptile show. I'm not gonna really go into too much with the super worms, but they're pretty easy to contain. Really, you just need some wheat bran. But I'll go into a whole feeding video. That's gonna be something separate. I don't want to get away from this. Is just a feeding video. But if you guys start commenting and tell me what you want to know, I'll tell you with my knowledge and everything that I know, and hopefully it'll help you out. But these are crickets here. I actually just upgraded from 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch because, as you can see, I do have 3 baby bearded dragons. They're technically not babies. They're now, I don't know, anywhere between 3 and 4 months old. But so I upgraded them to 3/4 inch instead of the 1/2 inch, just because they were going through way too much too quickly. And you need to know when you can start feeding your dragons pretty much what size food that's going to be cost effective, healthy for them, keep them full, and yeah, stuff like that. But we'll go into a whole feeder video how I keep them, but that's just general. Like if you're pretty much budgeting, I mean, all these bins are cheap. The food for them is cheap. So we'll go from there. So the first thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to feed the littlest bubbas that we have right here. So that'll consist of Diablo, Big Boy, which I just received, and Lily. And Lily's the oldest. She's pushing about, I would say, no, she's about 4 months. And the other 2 are exactly, I would say, at 3. So obviously one was from KP Critters, one was from Rainbow Bearded Dragons, and the other one was from, I believe it's Dachu Dragons. I got her at a reptile show. So they're pretty much the easiest to do. So what I do is I take a Ziploc bag here. You can buy them at Costco, Target, whatever, Walmart, wherever you find the best deals. I buy them in bulk. So you get a Ziploc bag, you open it up, and then I actually do have calcium from beardeddragon.co, and I do buy calcium with the recommended D3 in it because I do bring my bearded dragons to a vet, and I normally don't go with what's on the internet. I go with what my vet says, and I trust him, and you know, I have some confidence with him and some experience, and I feel like he knows more than what the general public is going to tell you on the internet, and you're getting too many different sources, and it's always so confusing. I hate it. So I don't really look stuff up anymore. At this point in the game, I would consider myself not a complete expert, but I'm a little bit more than intermediate. I'm pushing the advanced level with these dragons and how to care for them. So what you do is, I just put about a scoop in. Then, I used to keep them in a cricket keeper, but if you buy in bulk like I do, I buy 1,000 at a time at the moment. They're not going to stay alive in these little cricket keepers very long. It's going to moisten out, they're going to die, you're going to lose money, it's going to stink up your house, it's horrible. So you just go to Target, wherever, Home Depot, Lowe's, you can buy a little safe light, I think it's a Sterilite bin or whatever brand they sell there. But these are actually from the cricket keepers, and I still keep them in here because it's easy to get them out of. They do like to hide. So what I do is I just pretty much take them out. Here, I'm going to go up to the camera, but here's a fresh one. See how they're kind of just hanging out in there? They're like trying to escape. And then I shake them, put them in the bag.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah, and because I did just get a shipment, a bunch just went in here to hide. And these are the 3/4 inch. These are, and then I shake this bag up here, and this is going to coat them with the calcium and D3, which is crucial for any bearded dragon. They need the calcium. Without it, they will die. I mean, they'll get the metabolic bone disease. They're not going to grow as well. It's crucial. And personally, there's different things out there. Every feeding of insects, I put calcium on. I don't put calcium on their veggies because they're going to get it right now. And these guys are smart. I've not had them very long, but see how crazy they go? You just shake it up. They already know they're about to get fed. And they'll all take their little separate ways once it goes in. If you have... and the thing is, with male and female, you can keep them together up until a certain age. But Lily she's the alpha in here, and she knows they're coming, so she'll probably get first dibs and the others will go in. But what I do is, to keep the calcium out of the tank, is I dump it into their food dish. I empty it out if they don't eat all their veggies, which today they did. Well, in this case, this is what I'm talking about. These are raptors right here, and they go crazy. See, he's getting a little overwhelmed right now because they're crawling on him, but he doesn't seem to really care. But Diablo's obviously in shed. That's why you could tell his tail just shed. So those will be his true colors. Come probably about a week. Big Boy's doing well. We haven't had him too long. Lily just finished a shed not too long ago. Her tip of her tail's still in shed, but they'll go crazy over these, and they'll pretty much really hunt them. When they're at this young age, they really are honing their hunting skills. And like I said, this is the first time that I've fed them the 3/4 inch ones. And a good rule of thumb is, if you don't know what size cricket to feed your bearded dragon, put the cricket across their eyes, from where their eyes are. If the cricket can fit, then they're good to eat. You're not really risking much for impaction, or any damage of them choking or possibly processing it. So you're pretty much good to go. So all my dragons here are just at that point right now, and I would say that's normally around like the 3-4 month mark. You can start feeding them these 3/4 inch ones. They're a little bit more filling. They're pretty much, I think what they call them is pre-wing. They're about, I think the crickets are about a month old. But look at Diablo, get a shot on him. He's up top on the rock. But he just ate one. He's been killing them back there. See, they'll take a break like this. You don't have to worry about them choking. I can see him breathing, but they'll take a break. He just went pretty much crazy. He just ate a ton. So he's going to push that back. So we just want to make sure that he's good. So if your dragon's doing that, you just pretty much consume too many crickets in too fast a time. But that's nature. There's nothing you can do. You just got to keep an eye out. If he obviously was choking, then I'll intervene. But never had that happen, and I don't think that it will. But I never seen one choke yet. So, but he may have had his fill. He's the smallest one in there, and there's not too many running around right now, but it's so crazy. I wish I had a video of when I was feeding them the half-inch one, because they were destroying them. They wanted more always. But these seem to be filling them up pretty good, so that'll be nice. We'll have a couple running around for them to finish off later, because it's really good to feed babies twice a day. You want to feed them in the AM and then in the PM. But if you can't, and sometimes my schedule doesn't do it, I'll feed them as soon as I get home, and I'll put maybe a little extra in, and they'll finish them off before they go to bed. But you really don't want these guys roaming around with them sleeping, because they are aggressive feeders. I mean, they can harm your dragon. I've never seen mine get harmed by them yet, but this is from what I've heard, so this is a good rule of thumb. But this is kind of like a little test right here. So we'll let them finish theirs off.
Okay guys, so next up we're going to do the super worms, and we're going to feed the girls the super worms. They're a little bit more picky with how they like to be fed. Mars here, she's the real red one. She's a beast, and she'll just eat them no matter how you give them to you. Mello, who's all the way in the back half asleep right now, she likes to be baited almost. She wants to see it first, and then she kind of plays with it. And Mandarin, our little girl in there, sometimes she doesn't like to eat the super worms all the time, so she's sometimes a little bit more difficult to feed, but I usually feed them when Jason's at work, so I've kind of made up my own system on how to feed them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you first what I do before I take them out of the tank. Now the two red girls I take out. Mello doesn't like to eat in the containers, and Mars is too aggressive for any of the other girls to eat in the tank with her. So two of them have to come out or they won't eat. So first what we do is we're going to take another one of these Ziplocs. And usually about once a week we'll change the bag out, because as you can see there is some bedding in with the super worms. So they, after a while, the bedding attaches to the worms and it gets in the bag and it just gets gross. We're going to take the same calcium, we just keep it in this little bag, which obviously you saw before. We're going to take a scoop of the calcium and just put it in the bag. Alright. So now, we usually try to feed them at least 10 worms each. Mars will always want more. Sometimes the other two don't necessarily eat all 10. So usually what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll take out 30 to start. It's just easier for me that way instead of doing one dragon at a time.
Yeah, these tongs are crucial too. I mean, you can buy them pretty much at any pet shop, but if you're skittish about touching worms and whatever, I mean, I'm not skittish about touching insects, but just so much easier to grab them with. Instead of grabbing them with your fingers, it's kind of silly. These tongs are perfect, and these dragons are so smart. As soon as they see the tongs, they know they're getting fed, so you got some conditioning with that. But I just ordered large ones here, so
just for the sake of the video, I'm just going to guesstimate.
yeah.
I usually try to count it out while I'm feeding them. I feed them in the same order. Now, if you notice while I'm picking the worms up, you'll see, like, you get a whole bunch of the bedding in between them. I try to get more than one worm at a time. It's just faster that way, because if you look over at the tank, Mars already knows she's going to be fed. So she sits there and she waits for me. She goes, "Hey, Mom, are you feeding me yet?"
Yeah, they're real smart. They know around what time they're about to get fed. They'll be up on the glass waiting for you.
Yeah,
They're
they wait till you get home from work, and they wait, and they know. So I'm going to say there's about 25 in here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these to the side with the tongs. I have 2 empty sterile light bins. You can tell these are the ones we feed them in because there's bedding dust in them. I usually just put them right next to each other because that's easier for me. And we'll take one out at a time. I usually get Mars first because she's just, you know, she's happily waiting for me. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. And she's finally starting to shed the rest of her beard, so that's good for her. Right, baby? And I just put them in. Mandarin's not usually as excited as Mars is to eat. She hasn't really been liking the superworms too much, but we'll see if she eats them today. And Mellow, I just kind of leave hanging out in the back. She'll get to the worms eventually. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my tongs. I'm going to pick up one worm, and I'm going to just show it to Mandarin first. Now you'll notice Mars is making a lot of noise because she wants it.
This is to show you too how aggressive some dragons are
And I'll just put the
when
worm
food
down.
is concerned, and that can cause an injury to your dragon if you have an overly aggressive one in there. They can get aggressive, so it's best to feed them by themselves. And like Caitlin said, she has been picky lately with the superworms. A couple of my dragons did go through this picky age around like 6-7 months. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, sometimes I'll put that worm back and I'll pick up a different one. Sometimes she prefers that. Sometimes she knows that she doesn't want them. So I'll leave her for a second. Now, if I do Mars, all I gotta do is dangle that thing and she's already ready to eat it. Now I'll feed them in the same order even though Mars is already looking again. We're gonna go over to Mellow. Normally I kind of have to entice her. If she's not awake in there, she won't notice. Mellow. Sometimes I have to pick up her hide because she's being a little bit of a lazy. Do you want to eat?
Look at that lazy girl.
You want to eat, baby? Go ahead.
She's the alpha in there, so.
Yeah, so she pretty much does whatever she wants to. And she'll eventually start to edge her way out towards me when she notices that I'm feeding. So I'll go back around, I'll try Mandarin again. Sometimes it just takes her to see Mars eat in order for her to eat. So I'm going to leave hers there. We'll go back to Mars. She didn't even let me drop it before she ate it. And then I'll go back to Mandarin. Sometimes, again, they want to see another dragon eat. But she just doesn't seem like she's into it now. So I'll go back to Mellow. And the same thing. And now she knows. So she's pretty into it. Mandarin, I think, wants some dubious today. So that's fine.
Look at this one.
Mars would just be eating. I could drop the whole bag in there on accident and she'll eat them.
She knows what's up.
Oh, are you on Juniper?
Well, just real quick, because she knows what's up.
So, we're very strict now with Mars. We want her to stick to the 10 worms because she is getting a little bit on the chubby side. We love her anyway, though, even with all her extra chubbies.
Yeah, she can eat.
But she can eat. She would eat. Maybe Mandarin will eat some now.
Come on.
Every once in a while, I just like to test her, just to see. Maybe she'll take it. Come on, baby.
She knows the good stuff's coming after.
She knows that if she doesn't eat it,
some don't care.
She'll get a dubia.
Some of them are they're so unique, each one. It's crazy.
And Mars, we're just trying to keep to 10 to 12 worms. 12 is really the max that I like to do on her. Just because she is getting a little heavy. Not that we mind, but we also don't want her to get any kind of health issues because of the weight. So.
Yeah, always feed them separately, because if not, like if I had Mars in there, she'd eat all of them and no one would get any, and then your dragons aren't getting any proteins or calcium, and that's going to cause health problems in the long run. You could actually lose a bearded dragon that way.
Yeah, you always want to make sure that they are getting the calcium.
It's best to feed them all separately if you're housing them together, like I have my females together.
Sometimes Mellow, after a while, will get a little tired of eating. So here's where the enticing comes into play. I know that if she does not want it at all, she'll kind of start to back away from it. Sorry, babe. Go ahead. This one's not moving enough for her. The smaller ones that are in the bin, for some reason, aren't as active. Like this one will move a little bit more. For some reason, I find she likes the worms that move a little bit more. She's kind of looking at me like, I'm done. It's totally normal if they don't eat as much as another dragon. They all have different appetites, especially all of our girls. You want Mandarin, babe? And lately, Mandarin has been picky and has been liking the food without the calcium on it, which...
Well, that's not happening.
If she gets one worm every 10, yeah, she doesn't... She's done. She kind of, like, upturns her face at me and is like, nope. You can have 2 more, Mars, and then you're done. And this one, she would just eat all day. Go ahead, baby. They know the tongs. If you noticed just there, she looked at the tongs because she thought the worm was still on the tongs. But you have to sometimes show them. You gotta, like, look, you know, if the worm's not moving, they're not gonna see it. Alright, so we're gonna be done with her. The rest of these worms will go to one of the other dragons. Salem, our boy, eats them. And Juniper recently has been getting back into them. So for now, I'm going to close the bag up. Typically, if there are any worms left in the bag, you do want to put them back. I've made that mistake where they crawl out of the bag because they chew out of it. Right, big girl? And if you look at the chin on this one, you'll see what we mean by a little chubby.
That's a Jabba the Hutt.
That's the Jabba the Hutt chin, right, baby? Alright, so she's going to go back.
She's great, though. She's super healthy.
She's very healthy.
She's finishing up that little
now,
shed.
Mandarin I am going to put back just for the sake of the video because we are going to try to feed her some dubias, but since we do have worms left, I want to try to get rid of those first. So
you didn't eat any?
No, she didn't eat any. So Mandarin's going to go back for now, but typically we would leave her in the bin until we got the dubias ready. We also do coat the dubias, which you'll see that in another clip. Alright, we're back to feed Salem. We're going to do the rest of the super worms that were in that bag. Right now there's about 8 in here. Typically he doesn't eat 8. He will sometimes eat a whole 10. Normally he doesn't though. He does like to have a mixture of at least some of the super worms, and then I usually give him about 3 dubia to offset it. But we do want you to take a look at how he is now. He is in his habit hut, which he loves. And if you notice, he's a little lazy, and that's where he loves to hide. So you have to pretty much draw him out of the habit hut when you feed him with the super worms. He's not one of those that you can like shake the bag and he'll come out. He does know the tongs. When he sees them, he knows that he's getting food. Most of the dragons recognize the fact that the tongs equal food. They know that, at least. So, let's see how he's feeling today. You want a super movie? And this one, you kind of have to put it as close to him as possible. He does not want to come out of the habit hut. You have to kind of draw him out, kind of like you do with Mello. He will come out further. You just have to kind of like breadcrumbs, line them up a little further away from him. And then he'll come out.
It's like, ooh, food.
Now he does look like he's hungry today, so he probably will eat 10 supers. But we'll see as we go. That's only been 3. So.
And we're trying to fatten him up.
Yeah, he's a little underweight compared to the rest of our dragons. I wouldn't say underweight. He weighs less than our other dragons do. He was in a tank like the littlest with 2 other girls. He was in with Mandarin, who's in the tank below. Right now she's playing in her pen. And then Juniper. We did separate them once the tank got a little too small for all 3 of them. See now, if this one's not moving. Oh, he got it. Sometimes when they do that, when they're a little bit of a lazy worm, you'll notice some of the worms are just like a little bit lazier than others. Sometimes you just have to push the worm towards him and he'll get it. Now notice he stayed in the habit hut this whole time. Normally I can get him out. What really gets him going though is the dubias. So I think, just to show you what I'm talking about, this is the last worm I have in the bag, so this is 8 for him, which is good. I do like to give him the dubias just because we are trying to up his weight a little bit. So I'm just going to go over here quick and I'm going to grab a dubia. I'm going to grab one without calcium on it just to show you exactly what he does when these things go in the tank. He will chase these things. We will feed Juniper too, and you'll see that she doesn't even chase them. But Salem, he'll go after this thing. And now he's out of the
look at that.
So he knows. He loves chasing them. I'm just going to close this in case he hops out.
You can see he's not underweight at all.
Yeah.
But we're just trying to get him to grow as fast as possible and get as big as he can because he is going to be one of our star male breeders. this next coming year. He's got a little Jabba the Hutt black chin.
Now Jason will give you some more information on Salem. I'm just going to put some dubias in a bag that has some calcium left in it. I'm going to give him about 3 more. These ones are new. We just got a shipment of dubias, so these ones aren't as big. I tend to notice that the dragons eat well, I don't know that they're necessarily the female ones. The ones that aren't so long, the little fat ones, they tend to have an easier time eating. They eat them much faster than they do the males, the ones that have the big wings. I don't necessarily know that they're sexed at this age. But like if you notice, like this one's a chubby one.
No, it's a nymph.
Well, it looks kind of fat.
Yeah,
it's fat. It's not long.
Yeah.
These ones, they eat a lot faster. Now, I wanted it to flip upside down, but he doesn't care where this thing is. He'll chase it. Now, if you notice up here, there's a nosy body. Look at this. She thinks that this is food because she knows that these tongs have food attached to them.
We'll get into that in another video, but she's housed by herself for a reason. She's super aggressive. Especially now, if you notice. So, I'm going to drop another one of these fat boys in here. And he's just, oop, oop, oop. All right, let me help you. Whoa. Well, he just wanted to eat it. He did not want that on top of him. I just love.
And this one I'll drop back here. He'll actually let me place them. And he'll chase it. So that was 4 dubias, 8 super worms.
Give him one more, trickster. Give him a trickster one, like let him jump up and get it in the tongs.
Okay, so Jason wants me to do some circus tricks.
We're doing a trickster. I try and have some fun with them. Teach them a little bit of tricks, but that orange and that green though.
Now normally when I feed them, I do talk to them, if that sounds weird. But they do recognize your voice and that you're their owner and that you're feeding them. This one's actually kind of small, but come here, boo-boo. Come on.
Yeah, he's at that stage. No trickster tonight? Oh, maybe on the Habba Hut? Get that off the Habba Hut.
Apparently he's not really in the mood to play games today. Let's see if we can get him on the other side. Let me see if I can get this for him.
I'll show you my trickster.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. He just likes them straight up.
Yeah. But
so
look at him.
That was 5 dubias, 8 super worms. That should be plenty of food for him. We are trying to make him a little bit heavy for the ladies.
Yeah.
So, but that was a combo feed. So we feed. I usually try to feed him a little bit of each because he does like both. Some of them won't eat both, obviously, as you saw before.
Sup, Junebug? You're next.
And now from here, Jason's going to show you Juniper because she does like to do some tricks. Like, she just loves... Where is she?
We're going to feed her a couple supers first.
She loves the tongue. So, Jason's going to trick her into eating the super worms. There was a good, probably 3 or 4 months she didn't eat the super worms at all. And she used to love them. And... only the past week or so she's been eating them again. So he'll show you that.
She's a savage.
You've seen a little bit of all the feeding. So we'll go on to Juniper next.
When the beast meets her food. Boom! Right off the tongue. She don't care what it is.
Yeah, and if you notice, she'll bite the tongue because she doesn't care.
That's why she's housed by herself. She's my trickster. I'll show you guys some tricks. Don't you worry. These are just to fatten her up. She wasn't eating. The super worms are very high in fat. They'll fatten your dragon up real quick. It's definitely a good staple for them. But oh, she said, "Dad, I want more." Boom! Look at that. This is gonna. We're almost at 8 right here. This is like. It's good because, like I said, they go through weird stages, like kind of how Mandarin's going through right now, being a little bit picky, sluggish, May just be that it's getting cold now, but for her at that given age. But they're all so different. It's quite amazing, really. Alright, now I'm going to snag some dubias real quick.
Here she is, patiently waiting. And believe it or not, they do know that the bins hold their food. For a while, they didn't have such easy access to viewing the food as they do now. But even then, they knew. As soon as we came in with the box, they knew where it was going.
Trickster. Yeah, I don't think these have as much fat in them. They're definitely better protein, and they have less of that, I think, chitin on them, which is the pretty much bug armor, which makes them harder to digest. These have the least amount out of any bug, which is why they're so great, especially if you gut load them. And if I'm not mistaken, they hold the food, like if you gut load them, let's say you want to give them bug chow, vegetables, fruit, extra protein, calcium, they'll hold it in their stomachs for 2 days compared to other insects. So by far these are the best, which is why they're the most expensive. But look at that raptor eye. Oh. She'll just keep going. I'm going a little bit overboard here, what I normally give her, just because she was a little bit underweight, and I think she's finally comfortable in her new cage. She fully knows who I am, who Kate is. She knows when she's going to get fed, and she just needed to really just be housed alone. And she just did not like other dragon presence, and which is why I say she was super aggressive, as you can see with the feeders. But she's really a sweetheart, because I'll show you. I'll take her out right after. She knows.
And obviously, if you can tell, she does the same thing that the little dragons did. She does hold it in her mouth. We're always standing here when she eats these, so if something does happen, we always have access to take them out of her mouth. She does constantly breathe while she eats them, and she does look at you, so we've never noticed anything weird or out of the normal with her. When she does that, she does just eat so fast that sometimes she needs to take a breath.
That's good for that baby. Right, Bubba? Now, I'm going to show you Mars, Bubba. Hold on. Kate has to go on that step stool because that's really tall. But this baby here is still looking for some foodies. And I'll treat her with some too, just because that's how I am. I always treat my dragons. Let's see if Mello eats it. She hasn't really gone too crazy for him, but...
Push it at her so she sees it move. Maybe hold it on the tongue. Mellow's definitely one of the more difficult dragons to feed because she likes her food a particular way. I know that sounds a little strange, but she likes her food to be fed to her in a particular way. So that doobie, I think, ran for the hills, but somebody will find it in there.
It's gone. Yeah, it's my baby. You have to definitely differentiate. Alright guys, so that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. That's feeding with Raptor Reptiles, and like I said, every dragon's different, so you just have to cater to them accordingly, and we'll show you what Mandarin's capable of. We know what this baby's capable of, and as you can tell, she's definitely not underweight. So we'll keep you posted with another video. Rate, comment, subscribe. Please post us what you want to see next. If you want to see stuff on the feeders, if you want to see the dragons in the pen together, if you want to know more about baby bearded dragons, adults, what have you. I mean, I got Big Bubba here going into brumation soon. I mean, we can go over so much, so just please let us know, and thanks for watching.